Hello, hello, ladies. Welcome.
Hey,
Hi, Amira. Hi, Hella.
hello, how are you?
Good. Hi, Angie. Hello. Lots and lots of familiar faces, lots of
Hello.
faces. Hi, Amuna. Hi, Irini. Welcome, everybody. We have a minute to go and then we will start. It's 7 p.m. Cairo. Welcome, ladies. I'm so excited to have you here at the beginning of this journey. Before we start, I just want to apologize quickly for the horrible lighting that I am in. I have arrived in London because my daughter has an art exhibition that opens tomorrow, her first solo exhibition in London, and my little ring light thing that I use broke in my suitcase. So this is why I'm making do with this lighting, so I apologize for that. I've ordered another one, so hopefully tomorrow's class will be nice and lit and bright and not so dark and gloomy like the weather in London. In all cases, thank you. Thank you, Amira. In all cases, that's not going to dim our excitement for starting the program. I'm so excited to have all of you here. Some of you have been waiting to start a couple of months. You signed up back in November. Some of you have just literally signed up last night. So I know that there's a lot of overwhelm right now. I know that you got your emails this morning and maybe looked at the documents, looked at the meal plans, and thought, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Which is 100% normal, and everybody is going to be feeling some variation of this overwhelm today. Maybe the extreme version where, you might be thinking, I don't know if I even want to continue. And all the other sort of variations of up and down. I can do this. No, I can't. I can do this. No, I can't. Every single feeling that you're feeling right now is 100% valid and 100% normal. What you are about to embark on is a major shift in your lifestyle. And if you're not feeling some kind of apprehension, that's what wouldn't be normal, right? So there's a little part of your brain, it's a very significant part of your brain. We refer to it as the critter brain or the primitive part of your brain. And that part of your brain is in charge of protecting you and it hates change. Even if that change can ultimately be good for you, initially when you present it with this change, it freaks out. So this is the part of your subconscious now that's talking to you and sort of making up all the excuses. Well, I might not have enough time for this after all. Well, you know what? I have that wedding coming up next month. So what am I going to do? Start the plan and then stop in the middle? And how am I going to live without my coffee? I know I got excited, but now the idea of actually not having coffee, how am I going to go to work? How am I going to take care of my kids? All of these thoughts that you're having right now are coming straight from that critter brain, that subconscious, that's panicking because it thinks that if you stop your coffee, you're literally going to die. If you wake up and start having celery juice, you're literally going to die. So it's making you feel afraid. So I don't want you to push these feelings down, and I don't want you to pretend like they're not happening, and I don't definitely don't want you to make yourself wrong for having them. You are supposed to feel like this. Your body and your brain are responding to this new stimulus, which is this program, in exactly the way that it should be responding, which is overwhelm, fear of change, apprehension. There's a little bit of excitement too, but not quite there yet. So, in the next few days, I want you to tap into these feelings and just sit with them. Usually, what we do as women when we have these feelings that are uncomfortable, what do? We usually stuff them down, snuff them down, we eat them down, we push them way down, we find some way to not have to deal with them. You might still feel like you need to do that in the next few days, especially because starting Thursday is the meal plan. So you might find yourself eating everything in sight in the next few days in anticipation of the fact that on Thursday we're going to start a plan that probably doesn't include 99.9% of the things you're already eating right now. So when that happens, again, you haven't done anything wrong. You're not a failure. You're not weak. It's not that you've joined another program and you're not able to commit. Start to approach this and start to understand that the body and the mind are always responding to what you're giving them. And you being overwhelmed and you being anxious are very, very normal responses to what you mind and body with. The other reason why you might find yourselves eating everything in the next few days also goes back to a very primitive response that we have, which goes back thousands and thousands of years to the time of famine. So or times of winter, humans knew that there was an upcoming shortage of food, or it was going to be winter time and they weren't going to have access to all the food that they used to have. They used to eat a lot in preparation for this. Now, of course, in modern day, we don't really
Wi-Fi isn't set up for
food
help.
available to us all year round. You just click on your phone and you get food delivered. But the equivalent of a modern day famine or modern day winter food shortage in your mind is a quote unquote diet. So as soon as you tell your brain and you are bringing in the idea of some kind of less food, some type of limitation on food, that very primitive instinct is going to kick in to want to go and eat everything before you start. So again, if you find yourself doing that, it's okay. Don't make yourself wrong. Don't think of yourself as weak. Don't think that, oh my God, my cravings have suddenly gotten control of me. No, it's a very primitive instinct kicking in on top of you potentially feeling overwhelming and scared. But this is why we have this group. And this is why you have support, and this is why you have the guidance, because that's what you need. Even though we're going to sit with the overwhelm, we're not going to pretend like it's not happening. We're not going to allow it to lead the way. The way to get out of overwhelm is to continue to take the steps, which is read your material. And that's all I want you to do today and tomorrow. Just read the material and get very familiar with it. Read the material, show up on the calls, show up in the Facebook group, ask your questions, start to buy your groceries. And very little by little, you're sending these signals to your subconscious that this process is not so scary after all. And this process is not so overwhelming after all. And you know what? I'm not going to die if I stop drinking coffee on Thursday. So the only way out of overwhelm is through it, and you get through it with steps, one step at a time. Some of you have already been messaging me and saying, what happens in 2 weeks? Or, okay, once I finish the 9 days, how am I going to eat for the rest of my life? We call this future tripping. Let's not future trip. And that's going to create even more overwhelm. You literally want to take it one day at a time, because that's all your subconscious right now is going to be willing to work with you. One day, one meal at a time. Okay. So I'm going to break it all down for you in today's session, specifically break the big parts of the program down for you. And then in every single Zoom session, we're gonna, zoom in on a specific topic. So I want you just to take a deep breath, acknowledge the overwhelm, but also acknowledge that you're going to have a lot of support. You're going to have a day-by-day breakdown. If you feel you need more support, this is why we have the Facebook group. You can come into the group and ask me as many questions as you need throughout the process. We have the Zoom sessions every day for 3 weeks, again, for you to come in after I'm done teaching whatever segment I'm going to teach, for you to be able to get the support that you need. You are not alone in this process. Don't let the current overwhelm sort of overshadow the process that's going to unfold very slowly for you. So if you haven't taken a moment actually to acknowledge what a huge step you've taken for yourself today, let's take a moment right now, all of you, to congratulate yourself. Give yourself a huge pat on the back for taking this step. It's huge. And you are the minority. The majority of people want to stay in their comfort zone. They don't want to give up their favorite comfort foods. They don't want to give up their coffee. They don't want to give up their bread and cheese. They don't want to give up anything. But you are ready not only to step out of your comfort zone, but to say, look, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live with the pain. I don't want to live with the discomfort. I don't want to live with the symptoms. I don't want to live with being told that's just how it is for the rest of my life. Some of you are saying, I don't want to live with the medications. And this is, believe it or not, the 1% of the population who can even get themselves to think like this. So let's give each other, I don't know what they do, these little snaps, these little claps, right? For being here, ladies. Congratulations. The next thing I want you to do is to make sure that you are uninterrupted in your Zoom calls. As women, we support and love and give and give nonstop all day. This 1 hour, maybe sometimes a little bit longer than an hour, that you are going to give yourself every single day in this group is yours and yours only. And your opportunity to, instead of be supporting all the time, come in here to be supported. Come in here and find support for a change. So make sure you tell your family, you tell your loved ones that you are not to be bothered during this time. Lock the door, turn off your phone, put a sign on the door. You want to be able to focus, and you want to be able to focus uninterrupted on you and you only for this 1 hour. All right? Okay, let me just pull up my notes to make sure I'm not going to forget anything. Okay, we are going to connect again back to our support. We have 3 ways that we're going to connect in this program. Every single day for 1 month, you will get a daily email from me. So this morning, all of you should have received the day 1 email for this program. You're going to get a daily email for the first month of this program. Then we have the Facebook group. The Facebook group will be open for the entire 3 months. I will post inside that group 3 times a day for the duration of for the 3 months actually. And I'll be available in there between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. every single day to answer every single question or concern that you have. And then we have our Zoom sessions. So for the first 3 weeks, we have a Zoom session every single day because the first 3 weeks are the most intense in terms of learning. And then for the rest of the duration of the program, we are going to have 2 Zoom sessions a week. So you will have lots of ways to connect, lots of ways to find support. If for whatever reason you might have something a little bit too personal, you don't want to share it in the group, you don't want to share it here in the Zoom call, by all means, email me. So there is no excuse not to show up for yourself. And really, the only way that you are going to get the most out of this program. So you've got a great plan, you have the group, you have the accountability, you have the support, but if you don't actually show up, I can't help you. So if you don't actually come in every day or when you need it with a question and say, then I'm stuck with this, or I'm starting to feel this, or I don't understand this, I can't do anything for you. So it's so key that you show up. If you're somebody who's a little bit shy in the groups, this might be your opportunity to break out of that comfort zone and post in the group and support each other and help each other and comment on each other's posts. The community is a big deal because you might be discovering that this big decision you've made for yourself to change how you eat and how you live might not be going down too well with the closest people around you, right? As you go through this process and as your friends and family realize what you're doing, maybe you go to a family gathering and you don't eat and you bring your own food, maybe you decline, you might find there's going to be a lot of questions around what you're doing. There might be a lot of criticism, there might be a lot of mocking, right? And very little understanding as to why you're doing something that is so different than the mainstream. So then this group is going to become the place where you will find support, where you won't be judged, where you'll be able to come in here and find a safe space with like-minded women. So that requires you to show up. So I really, really, really encourage you to do this. The women who have had the best success in this program in the past are the ones who made themselves known to me. And I knew them. I'm like, right, that's Amira, and she's got this, and this, because Amira showed up in the group and talked about what's happening with herself every single day. And then I would have somebody who never asked a question, never showed up on a Zoom call, never did anything, And then she would send me a question. I'm like, wait, which one is she? And I can't help you the best that I can if I don't know regular updates and I don't know what's happening. And I really do pride myself in this program on my responsiveness and my being available with you because this is a big change. So there is no question that's too silly. Don't feel like, I'm being a bother by asking this question on the group or reaching out. If you don't do that, if you don't question, you won't learn. And this is a learning program. This is not a diet. You're not coming in here just to blindly follow a diet plan that I've given you. You're coming in here to unlearn so many things that you might have learned about general health, about getting older, about menopause, about chronic conditions. We are going to learn new ways of being and continue to relearn. And that process of unlearning and learning and relearning requires you to show up and requires you to question and requires you to be curious. So I'm going to talk a lot in these classes. You're going to get a lot of information from me. I am just going to be a source for you. So part of being empowered in your health is understanding that you are the only source. You are the only person who gets the final say in your health. Maybe I'm just showing you a new way to do that, but you're not going to take what I say at face value. You want to question what I say. You want to come back at me with, give me a better explanation. How does this work? Well, show me an example of this. Anything to get your mind going, also so that your subconscious and your critter brain can become more reassured as to the process. So please, please, please show up. Whether you show up in the group, if you're really too shy, then please communicate with me privately via email. All right. So the Zoom calls are always recorded, ladies. So every single day, right after our call, I will share the replay in the group under guides, and then I'll also share the replay in the next day's emails. So you always have the replay available to you. I will always give you the reminder for the calls 30 minutes before the call. So today you got your first email with all of your documents. Save this email and or download all of the documents for easy access. You can either download them and save them on a device, or you can print them, whatever works best for you. You have the detox guide, you have the eating schedule, you have the clean eating guide, you have the hybrid cleanse, and you have a document called the food diary. The detox guide, think of this as your main reference slash encyclopedia for the program. Start by reading this. This document outlines exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, short explanations on your hormones, the main ones, and the biggest hormonal issues, the foods you're going to remove, the different phases of the detox, the skin cleaning regimen that we're going to get to, the information on supplements. So all of the information we're going to cover from today until the end of the program, all of that is in your detox guide. Take a look through the whole thing so you have a general idea, but in every single day's email, I'm going to tell you what pages to focus on for the days that we're in. So you don't need to worry about understanding the whole thing. Look through it so you have a general overview, but then follow the instructions in your daily emails as to what pages you need to be focusing on now. So always keep that handy. When it comes to the meal plans, these first 4 days, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are not following any meal plans. You're not removing coffee. You're not removing bread. You're not following the clean eating. You're not doing any meal plans these first 4 days because these first 4 days are for you to become familiar with the process, go get your groceries, prep your kitchens, and then we start on Thursday. So starting Thursday, we go through a 9-day detox cycle. It will start on Thursday and end the following Friday. That 9-day cycle is broken up basically into two parts. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are the milder detox days. And then from Sunday to the following Friday are your deep detox days. I don't want you to start looking at all of those days. I want you to focus on these first 4 days, which are your preparation days. And all you need to do in these 4 days is look at your materials, understand the process, and start to buy your groceries. That's it. Some of you have, some of you drink a lot of coffee, a lot. And I'm talking 4, 5, 6 cups a day. If you are one of these people, then I would recommend for you to potentially start to decrease your intake of caffeine because you're going to have to stop it on Thursday anyway. So when you stop caffeine, as any of you might know, if you've ever done it during Ramadan, you will get a lot of headaches. That's just a normal part of caffeine withdrawal. You're definitely free to go cold turkey on Thursday, but if you don't want to, then I would recommend if you drink, 2 or more actually cups of coffee or any caffeine, then starting tomorrow, keep your 2 cups of caffeine, but decrease it by a fourth of a cup each day. So tomorrow have 3/4 of a cup of coffee twice a day. The day after have half a cup of coffee twice a day. The day after have a fourth a cup of coffee only. And then Thursday, you've got nothing. Other than that, I'll leave it up to you. I've always had some ladies who like to slowly get off their caffeine or slowly get off the sugar or slowly get off their bread. I'll leave that up to you. Thursdays when you're going to have to do that, whether you want to or not. All right. So just prepare for that. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are the milder detox days. And those are the days where you have flexibility. I'll talk about that again tomorrow and the day after. You have a little bit more flexibility in terms of choosing your meals. But starting Sunday, we go into very deep detox where you have to follow the plan exactly as laid out. In general, what we're doing in this program is not a very deep detox. You have levels of detoxing. So some of you might have heard of water fasting. So water fasting would be the most difficult and deepest form of detox. Well, some people do dry fasting, which is no food at all, like Ramadan, but they do it for days on end. So I suppose that would be even more difficult than water fasting. But generally, water fasting, where you live on nothing but water, the detox right below water fasting would be juice fasting. So it's still all liquids, but you are getting, fruits and vegetables juiced, maybe blended. The detox right below that would be all raw, but not necessarily liquid. So you might be eating fruits, like eating a fruit salad, maybe eating a green salad, as well as juicing and blending, but it's all raw. And then the lower intensity below that, which is what we're doing, is a combination of raw and cooked, but just fruits and vegetables. And that's what we're doing starting Sunday. The lower intensity even from that, which is what's generally called clean eating, is fruits, vegetables, a little bit of animal protein. And that's what you're going to start off with on Thursday. And this is the one that can be a lifestyle, right? Where you're just eating really, really very simple foods from nature, nothing processed, and obviously nothing from that do not eat list. So we're not doing a very, very deep detox. We're doing sort of a mid-level detox and even a very simple, clean eating, mild detox. All right. I'm going to talk about each one of these phases in detail closer to that today. Like tomorrow, we're going to talk about the foods you're going to remove. The day after, we'll talk about the foods you're going to add in. And each day, I will walk you through each segment of the detox in more detail. So don't worry. What I do want you also to start planning on doing is if you are taking any supplements, so vitamins, vitamin C, magnesium, B12, multivitamins, etc., or any over-the-counter medications like Panadol, Tylenol, any flu medication, anything over the counter that's not prescribed, plan on stopping those as well on Thursday because all of those are highly toxic. They are going to add or have already been adding to your body's toxic load. And what we're trying to do as of Thursday is detox your body and detox your liver. Again, we have a whole class on supplements, and I will go into a lot of detail about that. But just know that unless you have something specifically prescribed for a very specific medical condition, all those other things need to go. You just keep the prescribed medication. So what's going to happen? A lot of you are asking again about what happens after the 9 days, and I will get into that, but generally what's going to happen after the 9 days depends on your individual case. Depends on your symptoms, depends on your, if you have a medical condition, whether you will repeat the 9 days or whether you will go into a different type of detox. And again, I will explain that to all of you. It's really important, though, that regardless of which level of detoxing you choose to do as we move forward, you really can't do this program wrong. I want to reassure you of this. You can't do it wrong. We are focusing on fruits, vegetables, and if we're mildly detoxing, then a little bit of animal protein. You cannot do it wrong. There's no, with the exception of animal protein, there's no limits on how many fruits and vegetables you eat. There's no limit on any of the recipes that you find. You eat until you're full. I can't state this enough. This is not a diet. Many of you might be coming in here with that mentality that this is just something I'm going to do for a short period of time and then I'll be done with it and go back to how I'm eating now. We've all been there. I think I've done every single diet there is out there ever since I was 25. And I want you to start to be really aware of when that diet mentality kicks in for you. A diet mentality is one that works within a very limited framework, right? And the goal of a diet is what? There's only one goal with a diet, and that's just to change the number on a scale. Very limited scope, very limited time frame. You usually just push yourself just to get through it and then be done with it. What we're doing is you are going to move, if you are in that diet mindset, deeply into it, or you're just a little bit into it, we are transitioning and creating a healing mindset. And a healing mindset is open-ended, right? It's about life's opportunities. It's not about limitation. It's not about removing food. It's about how I can create health in my body. It's about how can I bring in abundance into my body. And it doesn't work with a deadline. We might have 3 months together in this program, but that's just the time it takes me to teach you. That's just the time it takes for you to get accustomed to this new way of eating. It's not the beginning and end of healing. Today is day one of healing, but healing goes on for the rest of your life, and you evolve, especially as women. We evolve in our healing journeys, and some things that might have worked for you 5 years ago might not be working for you now, may not work for you in 5 years. So our healing journey is ongoing. And especially if you have a medical condition or if you have very specific symptoms and you go through the process in the next 3 months and you eliminate your symptoms and you reverse your disease and you come off your medications, you have to continue doing what you're doing, because if you don't, in the same way that you detox your body and heal, you can retox your body and bring on all the symptoms and conditions again. So start to very slowly bring yourself to the awareness that healing is a lifelong journey, that this isn't a diet, that what you are doing is a lifestyle change. It's not temporary. It's definitely not a quick fix. All right. And this is why you can't do healing wrong. And some of you are going to feel symptoms faster than others, for sure. Some of you are going to feel symptoms and then take a few steps back. That's how healing works. Healing is not linear. So you might feel amazing, and then 2 weeks into feeling amazing, feel a little bit of a twinge or tinge of something coming back. Totally normal. Healing is always about 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And this is why I have to tell you, you have to be so kind to yourself in this process. Trust the process. It works. If you do it, it works. Some of you might be slower, some of you might be faster. There's no way for me to predict for any of you how fast or how slow it's going to go. But remember that you can't do it wrong. You are using the most natural foods to heal. There's no gimmicks. We're not doing powders or shakes or, nothing. We're using basic fruits, vegetables, a little bit of animal protein. And you're going to see that when you look at the recipes. So even if you quote unquote mess up, right? Let's say you're in the process, you go to an event, you go to a birthday, you go to a wedding, and you have all the food that's there. No big deal. You're going to wake up the next day, because this is your lifestyle, and simply keep going without the guilt, without the shame, because healing requires you to learn from your mistakes. If you consider that a horrible, oh my God, what have I done? I've ruined everything, that will affect the healing process. But when we're healing, we look at those little hiccups as information, right? If I needed to go and eat a piece of cake yesterday and I couldn't hold myself back, or I needed to eat 3 bags of chips, the first thing we do in this program is ask why. Is it because you didn't eat enough during the day? Is it because you skipped a meal during the day? Is it because your emotions were triggered? And we're going to have a class on emotional eating. We cannot talk about healing without talking about emotional healing as well. So it's all about understanding why you're doing what you're doing without shame and without guilt. And you can't do it wrong. You just simply keep going. All right, ladies, any questions for me so far? Raise your hand, please, and I will call on you. Let me see here. A couple of comments. Angie, for me, it is a lot of information and don't know where to start. Angie, I don't know if I can see you here. There you are. Did what I said so far cleared it up for you?
Yes, much better now. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Amira, that includes tea as well. Yes, caffeine includes coffee, tea, matcha, green tea. Those are also chocolate. Those are all sources of caffeine. So some of you have also already asked me, emailed me asking about herbal teas. You can have as much herbal drinks as you want. So chamomile, peppermint, any non-caffeine herbal tea is perfectly fine. You're also going to find in the plan, we have a wonderful tea called a lemon balm tea that you'll have every single day. So you can add to that. Don't take that away, but add to that any herbal teas that you like. Reda, what about almond milk, cinnamon? So almond milk, you can have that in the first 3 days that I'm going to discuss in more detail tomorrow. In the first 3 days, yes, if you want to have almond milk, if you want to add it to your smoothies, if you want to make, chia pudding with it or something like that, yes, but not after Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Starting Sunday, no dairy alternatives, no nuts, none of these milks, just fruits and vegetables. And cinnamon, yes, as a drink and as an herb. Is cinnamon an herb? To add to food or whatever you want to do, yes. Amira, green tea is caffeinated. Yes, it is. Jaylen, coconut milk, the same as almond milk. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yes. Starting Sunday, no. We're from Lemon Balm. Oh, you also have a shopping list in your documents. I forgot to mention, you also have, for you, those of you in Cairo, so everybody outside of Cairo, I apologize. Those of you in Cairo, you have a document in the email that you received today. At the end of the eating list, there is a shopping resources guide, tells you where you can find things that you're not used to buying. It's in there. Asada, natural almond milk, anything that we make. Again, only Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Whether you make it at home or you buy the ready-made, cartons, only Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then none. Celine, raw honey is the same as organic. Not necessarily. Raw honey means it's not heated and it's not processed. You could have organic honey that is heated and processed. The way you tell the difference between raw honey and processed honey is the color. Processed commercial honey is brown. It's a very clear light brown color, sometimes dark brown. Raw honey is more of a cream color, like a beige color. So that's the honey that you want to be using. And yes, of course, raw honey is allowed because raw honey is one of the most healing foods on the planet. You're going to use it if you want to sweeten your herbal teas. Some of you might want to sweeten the smoothie a little bit with a raw honey. So of course you can do that. What else would you use it for? Basically drinks and smoothies. Sorry, we need to be punctual about eating mealtime. Well, in the eating schedule, you have it broken down. You have your day broken down by the hours. Yes. So, if I say breakfast is between 5 and 7, lunch is between 12 and 2, because what we want to do, if you're not already on a similar schedule, we want to shift the body to your body's natural circadian rhythm, which is your waking, what the body wants you to be waking and sleeping at. And the most important part of that schedule is your liver and your body's digestive system. They start their regeneration and they start their healing process at around 10 p.m., which means you have to have had your last meal around 6 or 7 p.m. so that it's digested, so that by 10 p.m., your liver and your digestive system aren't working to digest. Your body can't reheal and regenerate and rest at night while you sleep if it also has to digest. So the most important part of that cycle and that schedule is getting your body to be in a completely resting state by 10 p.m. so that your organs can start to heal and regenerate. There was, I think, a question I missed. Hi, lemon balm, natural raw honey. Yes, people. Man, where can we buy the raw honey? It's in the shopping list. Yes. Celine, do we lose muscle mass during this detox? No, muscle mass is not built up using a ton of protein as everybody has been told. You do that with workouts. If you're working out, continue working out. If you don't work out, then I highly recommend once you get over the initial detox withdrawal symptoms, which I'm going to talk about again, and you get and this way of eating becomes your new normal, then by all means you need to start working out. Sada, how about multivitamins, vitamin D, and other supplements like collagen, glucosamine, primrose? Yes, stop them all, please. The majority of all of these conventional supplements are full of artificial additives and fillers that are doing more harm than good. In addition to the actual supplement itself, 99.9% is a synthetic version. And supplements don't heal. We're going to talk about this in the supplements class. Supplements don't heal. They actually can do more harm than good, especially if you haven't created the proper food foundation first. They don't work unless what you need to heal are the right foods that have the right nutrient density that your cells are missing. We'll talk about this in more detail tomorrow and the day after. Supplements don't do that. Sharifa, is molasses honey allowed? No, only raw honey. Do I need to stop working out during the first phase of the program? If you are tired, so starting Thursday, some of you might, because we're taking away caffeine, we're taking away all the processed sugars, some of you might start to go through what's called the withdrawal detox symptoms, and that might include fatigue, headaches, irritability, being more sleepy than usual. And that is a sign that your body's working really hard at detoxing. If you feel that, then I recommend that you work with it with the body. The body's working really hard, so rest. Let your body rest because it is internally working extremely hard. If you feel like your detox withdrawal symptoms are mild, then by all means, continue working out. If you feel like you're more tired than usual, that phase is temporary. It's just a few days. Take a break, let your body know do what it needs to do, and then you can resume. Iman, should I stop prescribed iron supplements for anemia? Yes. And I'll talk about anemia and iron also. Again, they're not doing much if you have what we call leaky gut and your gut cannot even absorb the iron supplements that you're taking because you are consuming any of that list of foods that we are going to remove. Ahmed, should our workout schedule change with the eating schedule? No, it doesn't need to. Like I said, the only thing would be, and this is going to, it's a very personal. Each one of you is going to feel it a bit differently. If you're feeling more tired, then take a break during those first, I want to say 3 to 7 days maximum are the detox withdrawal symptoms. So if you're feeling extremely, your body's really working through those symptoms and that process, then rest. But once it's done and throughout the rest of the 3 months, you can work out exactly as you've been working out. Asada, if we couldn't have our dinner, so we shouldn't have anything after that timing. If for whatever reason you can't have dinner by 7 p.m. maximum, then I would say at least have a fruit, at least have something, because also the fruit will help with the regeneration, but definitely don't have a big meal right before you go to bed. No. Can we eat dates? 100%. Dates are in the plan. So when you see your eating schedule, you're going to see that you are going to snack on apples and dates. Dates are incredibly healing. There's no limit on how many dates you can eat every single day. So anything you've heard about, you shouldn't eat dates, you shouldn't eat grapes, you shouldn't eat mangoes, you shouldn't eat watermelon, or any of these, the nonsense you hear about, don't eat fruits because they raise blood sugar. This is a complete myth. Fruits are healing. Nobody has ever in the history of the world gotten diabetes or gotten sick from eating dates or fruits. So, and especially when we remove all the sources of processed sugar. So if you're somebody who eats bread, pasta, rice, oatmeal, cereals, granola, those are the processed sugars that you're eating. Your body is, and they're highly addictive. Your body's going to need a replacement. So you're going to need, because the body functions on sugar. So naturally, you're going to replace the fake sugar with the natural sugar from fruits. So fill up on that. Will I have to stop Regain for hair loss? This is personal to you, Nariman. I can't answer that for you. I can give you information about that. I can give you the pros and the cons for that, and then and alternatives, and then you would have to make that decision for yourself. Sada, where can I find the guide to healthy proteins that we can have during the detox? So the detox guide, which is the first document linked in today's email, tells you a list of the foods we're going to remove. And then in the next document, the eating schedule, it tells you exactly what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the proteins to include at each meal. Only dates or all dried fruits. So dates only. The rest of the fruits have them in their natural state because dried fruits, especially the majority of the ones on the market anyway, are filled with sulfates. So they're filled with and this is a preservative, and you end up eating that. And then the great thing about fruits is, in addition to the live vitamins, the live minerals, the antioxidants, the live enzymes, is their hydration. So the hydration you get from fruits is unlike any other hydration that you get even from water. So when you eat a dried fruit, that hydration has been sucked out of it. So it's an okay snack to have, but very little benefit. Always opt for fresh fruit. Amira, to understand correctly, you said raw honey is okay. What about organic honey? If your organic honey is raw, then it's fine. But organic honey can still be processed, Amira, which means it can be heated. So you need to look for the color. That's what's going to be your biggest giveaway. Is it a cream color, sort of like your sweater, or is it brown? So raw honey is that lighter color. The other one is a brown color. Celine, is Sidr honey considered raw? I don't know. I would have to see the jar. So show me and I will help you with that. Jaylen, I'm on cancer treatment and I have to take iron and vitamin D as prescribed by doc. Okay, so that's a situation where it's prescribed. So in that case, yes, you would keep them, Jaylen. Are acai and granola allowed? Not granola because that's a grain. So no granolas. I would say acai in the first 3 days, but not starting Sunday. If I have a wedding event or so and missed during the first 9 detox days, will this ruin the whole detox process? I want to say the only time you could potentially do this wrong would be the 9 days, because the 9 days are key. So I highly, highly recommend during those 9 days that you really protect yourself and protect your energy and protect the process of the 9 days, because the 9 days go deep. And the 9 days, yes, if you go to a wedding in the middle of the 9 days, you would have to start the 9 days over. Let's put it that way. You wouldn't just continue in the middle of the 9 days. If something interrupts your 9 days, then you need to start over. If you know from now that there is something that's going to happen in the middle of the 9 days, and even if you're just mildly unsure of yourself, that you won't be able to attend this event and not eat, then I recommend you set yourself up for success and don't start the 9 days until after this event. Hella, so there won't be an insulin spike if I start my day with fruits. Absolutely not. If you are somebody who, let's say you're already diabetic, or you maybe already have an issue with insulin resistance, you might have a spike because your insulin is already resistant, okay? But there's a learning curve to that while your insulin learns to react to fruits versus reacting to processed sugars. And people are overly concerned with insulin spikes. And we're going to talk about insulin very specifically next week. But insulin is supposed to spike. Like the easiest way for me to explain it to you is, let's say you get on a treadmill and you start walking and then a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster, then you start running and your heart rate doesn't go up, right? We know that the heart has a resting rate, but we also know that when you exert effort, the heart rate has to go up. So saying that when you are not eating anything, you have an insulin level, but then you eat some fruits and it goes up and you don't want the insulin to go up is the equivalent of you saying, I have a resting heart rate, but then I go running and the resting heart rate stays resting. It doesn't work that way. By definition, insulin has to be raised a little bit to do its job. It can't move sugar into your cells unless it's been peaked a bit. All right. The problem is when it stays high, continuously high, and doesn't come back down again, where it doesn't come back and rest again, like your heart. Like imagine you go running and your heart rate stays up here for months on end. That's the problem with insulin spikes. When they go up, they don't come back down again. They stay up and keep getting higher and higher and stay like that for long periods of time. We're going to talk about that. But no, you do not get insulin spikes having fruits in the morning. Um, why is molasses honey not allowed? Isn't it made by sugar cane? Because most of them have added sugars, right? And it's highly processed as well, unlike honey. Honey is not, you don't take something and, I mean, the bees just make the honey, right? Molasses is processed. You have to take the sugar cane and extract it from the sugar cane, and we don't know what else they add to it, commercially conventional products. So there's question marks around the ingredients and the process there. Is there any alternative to honey? I'm allergic. If you need to sweeten, then the next best thing after honey would be maple syrup, the grade B or A maple syrup. So not pancake syrup, that's just sugar, but pure maple syrup. Is stevia allowed? No, I generally don't recommend stevia. There are no healing powers to stevia whatsoever. And you always want to optimize everything you're putting into your body. If you want to use a sweetener, then why not use one that is also anti-inflammatory, antihistaminic, anti everything, which is honey. Honey it's God. I mean, God has recommended honey for centuries. So stevia is still a processed, extracted, man-made sweetener. Honey is all natural and God-made, so nothing compares to it. Is sweet potato and potato are allowed? You have one day in the 9-day cycle where yes, you get to have sweet potato and potato. Yes. So on that day, you get to have as much as you want. I believe that is day 10. It's a week from Wednesday. Not sure what day that is, but that's the day you get to have potatoes and sweet potatoes. All of this is in the documents that you got today, ladies. So if you haven't done so already, take some time today, take some time tomorrow to go through them. I really, really recommend that as you're reading them, jot down every single question that comes to you, take down notes, and then come into the Facebook group tomorrow and ask all of your questions. Just do a brain dump of all of your questions as you get them. Hella, about honey, I heard it turns toxic if it's added to hot drinks. No, no. I mean, out of all the things that we could be worrying about when it comes to health, people are eating junk and eating pizza and eating burgers and drinking protein drinks and junk, right? But all of a sudden, somebody will say something about, don't put honey in your drinks, it turns toxic. Have you done all the other things first? Right? Have you stopped eating the junk? Have you stopped eating out? Are you drinking? Drinking coffee every day is going to be more toxic to you than putting a little bit of honey in your warm drink. So let's also work on, eliminating there's so much information out there about what you should and should be doing to your health, and so much conflicting information out there. One of my biggest goals with this is to simplify it all for you. right? Simplify it. We don't need to think about the complex protein powders and the complex supplements and the things to add and the things to fruits, vegetables, animal protein. Remind yourself every day, I'm going to eat fruits, vegetables, and animal protein, the most basic foods available to man. Man has been eating fruits, vegetables, and animal protein for centuries. Even things like legumes, like chickpeas and lentils and fool, not necessarily because they require a process for us to eat them. And human beings over our evolution generally would only eat things in quantities that were the least required the least effort. So even animal protein wasn't something they ate every single day because it required a lot of effort to go and hunt the animal and bring it home and slaughter it and do all the things. So the easiest foods were fruits and vegetables because they were the ones that could be eaten raw, just picked and eaten raw. So remind yourself, if it's something that wasn't eaten 100,000 years ago and you're walking down the supermarket, don't buy it. If it's not a fruit or a vegetable or good fat, let's say, because then they added some good fats like olive oil, butter, semna, animal protein, those are your basics. Those are what the body recognizes, the most easily recognizes, and the cells of your body accept as very nutrient dense nutrition. Fruits, vegetables, a little bit of a good fat, and animal protein. Don't get confused. Don't confuse yourself. Should I stop my antihistamine prescribed by my doctor? What's it prescribed for, Reda? Because typically, if it's prescribed for something you're having a reaction to, we're going to remove all the potential triggers, right? So you won't need it. So message me privately or in the group, Reda, and let me know what it's for. Can
Can I
we?
put now?
Sorry, no, put it in the group, please, Reda.
Okay.
Thank you. Can we change sweet potatoes with potatoes? Yes, of course you can do that. What about plant-based? No. Plant-based? No. None of it. Wala plant-based protein powders, wala whey protein, wala casein, wala creatinine, none of that. That is all processed junk. Throw it all out. Nobody needs this. We did not evolve needing or consuming any of this. This is the food industry basically jumping on board what they see as people trying to be more healthy and trying to sell us more stuff. You don't need any of this. You need fruits. You want to have more protein? Have a little bit more steak. Have another piece of fish. You don't want to have animal protein? Have avocados. Have fresh pea. I mean, most of this plant protein is what? It's peas. Most of it, right? They take peas and they boil them or they roast them and they dry them up and they turn them into a powder. Just go and eat the fresh peas. Eat the peas, eat the potatoes, eat the mushrooms, broccoli, asparagus, all of these have plenty of protein. And then, of course, regular protein. Nobody needs to be eating excess amounts of protein. Excess amounts of protein, whether natural or the artificial kinds in powders, create a high level of acidity in the body. We're going to talk about this again. High levels of acidity in the body versus the body being alkaline is where disease thrives. The more acidic your body is, the more your body is prone to disease, any disease, from the most simple being tired, fatigue, chronic headaches, all the way up to cancer. So what we're doing by focusing on fruits and vegetables, which are alkalizing foods, is we're bringing down the levels of acidity in your body. And then whatever issues each one of you have because you have a certain level of acidity in your body, the symptoms will come down because we've reduced the acidity and alkalized your body. So they're processed, they're toxic, they raise acidic levels in the body. So none of this processed stuff. Celine, what about dried fruits? Also, I get lots of bloating from legumes. So try again during the detox. No, legumes are not necessary. Legumes are not a food that we actually evolved eating. And as you know, in order for us to eat legumes, what do you have to do? You have to soak them at least 24 hours, and then you soak them and then rinse them and then clean them and then boil them. So we have to do a lot of things to make legumes easy for our body to digest. So right there, that's a red flag as to how appropriate are these foods for us to digest if they require so much preparation and pre-preparation before we can eat them. So if your body's already telling you no, and when a body is bloating because of legumes, it's saying no, there's no need to force it. There's no need to say, right, let me fix my body so that I can digest legumes. No. And we're going to talk more about the things, the different types of foods and how they can bloat and why they bloat. And no to dried fruits. Celine, I don't know if you heard, I said you can have them, they're an okay snack, but you want to make sure they don't have the additives like sulfates, which are the preservatives. And really, when they're dried, you've taken all the hydration and all the benefit out of them. So it's always better to choose fresh fruits. Asari, my skin is not recovering well. Started having pimples after some trauma in my life. Any skincare, washing or whitening the dark spots cream or taking consultation from dermatologists? Yes, because all of them are going to prescribe highly toxic, highly inflammatory products. None of them are going to address the root cause, and the root cause of skin issues is a weak liver. We're going to get into that. We have a skin class. We're going to get into all those details. The root cause is internal. The root cause is in your liver. When anything shows up on your skin, we call that dermatoxins. It's basically toxicity that the body in some shape or form cannot eliminate in the regular pathways. So it finally has to push out through the skin. And we're going to remove all the sources of toxicity. And you're going to see, I can't tell you in how long, but you will see your skin improving. Eggs. Why are eggs not good for you? We'll talk about that in a lot of detail tomorrow, actually, the foods we're going to remove. So I'm going to hold off on that question until tomorrow, just because I'm mindful of time. All right. Amen. I'm very happy and enthusiastic to be here. That's the spirit. Even though you're overwhelmed and even though you're worried, you should be very happy and enthusiastic at the same time. So amazing. Thank you, Iman. Reda, if I have my own chicken farm and I don't use any hormones, can I eat egg? No. And I'm going to answer that question for you again tomorrow. Do we need to stop any kind of skincare products? So I'm going to talk in detail about skin. The short answer is if you want to, for now. If you don't want to, you can wait. But ideally, yes. Are we stopping grains totally for the whole 3 months or only 9 days? Ideally, totally. Grains are very difficult for the body to digest. We are not meant to process grains. Grains are acidic, so they raise the acidic level in the body. Grains can cause bloating. If you're looking for weight loss, they can slow down weight loss. They are part of what we call dry, dead, and dumb foods. Basically very, very low in nutrition. They don't compare. There's no comparison between fruits and vegetables and grains. No comparison whatsoever. One is full, brimming with live vitamins and minerals and enzymes, and one is dead, lifeless. Shall I stop taking selenium? Also, yes, everything. We need to give your body a clean slate. We will go back when we get to the supplements, and you will sort of reevaluate in a month or two, very specifically if you think you still need a supplement. But this sort of like wholesale, everything in the kitchen sink supplement situation that a lot of people are doing, nobody needs that. And especially without first creating a very solid food foundation that heals you first. And then you sort of fill in if you have any gaps with some supplements. But you don't start filling in with supplements when you haven't created a food foundation first. Any other questions for me, ladies? Hella, go ahead.
Shall I stop drinking chlorophyll because I drink it first thing in the morning?
Yes, also, yeah. We're going, we're taking everything clean slate back to zero and then slowly rebuilding as needed. Oh, some more. Maha, what about chemicals and toothpaste and deodorant? Should we replace? Yes, of course. Yeah. So when I say skin, I mean all products that you use on your body. So the products you use on your face, your hair, your body, deodorant, your teeth, all of those. Yes. Maria, by dates, you mean the Majdul dates, not all dates. Maybe you have a preference. Any dates, all dates are all fantastic. They're all healing. See the one that you prefer. Okay, ladies. So I do have one little change. Oh, I saw it. Even the water we consume, better not from plastic bottles. Yes, of course. Better to have it filtered for sure, not from plastic. But here's the thing. There's so many things that you can do, and there's so many sources of toxicity in our lives. You also don't want to drive yourself crazy, right? Because whether it's the plastics, whether it's the chemicals, whether it's the air, like there's so many things. What we are going to focus on in this program is understanding those sources, right? And understanding what from all of these sources do I have the most control over and what can make the biggest difference to me. Because if you start fearing every little thing around you, that's not very healthy either, right? And nobody, including myself, who has gone through this journey and cleaned up how they eat and cleaned up their lifestyle, I mean, even the most, the health coaching colleagues that I know who are like living the cleanest life possible are not doing it 100% perfect 100% of the time. It's not humanly possible, all right? So just start to become aware of the sources of toxicity in your life, and we're going to tackle them one by one. Some of them you might never tackle and you might never get around to. But if you're doing the food and you've cleared out the toxins from your liver and you've reversed your symptoms and you've come off your medications, right? And so you're still drinking water from a plastic bottle. You have to start to weigh it out because it is never going to be 100% perfectly toxic free 100% of the time. And that's not the goal. Even toothpaste. Yes, Jaylen, sorry I have to leave. No problem. Sharifa, when you mentioned chopped veggies, can they be cooked or are they supposed to be raw during the mid-morning snack? Mid-morning snack, those are raw. And you'll see starting Sunday, you're going to have cooked vegetables for lunch and dinner. Anytime it's between lunch and dinner, chopped, and if it's clearly doesn't stay, put them in the oven, then they're raw. Do you have recommendations for alternative skin moisturizer and toothpaste in the readings? Yes, I do. In the skin section, in the detox guide, I've linked certain brands that you can purchase from that are toxic free. Farida, I'm planning on fasting for the next 3 days. Anything I should consider? No, I would just do it the same way you've always done it. Don't create more anxiety for yourself. If this is how you fast, eating whatever it is that you eat, then just do it for the next 3 days. Dina, must I remove my acrylic nails or gel nails? So these are another huge source of toxicity. I can't tell you what to do, ladies. I can just tell you, yes, they are a source of toxicity. Can I tell you remove them? No, I can't. You decide for yourself. All right, before I forget. So, like I said, I'm here in London for my daughter's exhibition. The exhibition opening is tomorrow. So, all our classes are at 7 p.m. Cairo, but tomorrow it will have to be at 5 p.m. Cairo because I have to be at my daughter's exhibition tomorrow. So, I put that in the email tomorrow to remind you, and I put it in tomorrow's reminder. You'll get the reminder at I'm confused between London. You'll get it at the right time. But tomorrow's call is 5 p.m. Cairo, not 7 p.m. because I have to attend my daughter's event. Other than that, I don't foresee me having to reschedule any other call. In the event that I do, I will always give you enough notice. But as of this point, inshallah, only tomorrow is rescheduled to 5 p.m. All the other classes are 7 p.m. I will put the replay of this class right now in the group under guides, and then I will also share the replay in tomorrow's email. All right, ladies, please take time to read through your documents. Please take notes. Please come in and ask all your questions. Don't feel shy or ashamed or like you're a bother to come in with all the questions. This is how you learn, and this is why I'm here to support you. All right? And thank you so much, ladies, for your beautiful wishes. Thank you. And I will definitely share photos with you tomorrow. We're all very, very excited. Thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow at 5 p.m. Cairo time. All right, ladies. Good night.